never believed in cursed places until I stood beneath the hanging tree. I had heard the stories since childhood, whispers told to frighten us into obedience. They said that long ago the village had only one place of execution, a twisted tree on the edge of the woods. Its branches had held more bodies than fruit. They said the last breath of every man and woman who died there had soaked into the bark, and the tree had learned how to scream. We laughed at those tales as children. A tree cannot remember. A tree cannot speak. But one night, walking home when the road was flooded and the moon was too thin to trust, I found myself on the path that led directly to it. I told myself I would only pass quickly, but when I reached the clearing, the tree stood waiting, black against the sky, and I knew it had been patient for me. The trunk was thicker than a house wall, bark cracked into deep scars that looked too much like old wounds. The branches bent outward like arms in command, crooked, low, each one long enough to hold a rope. Beneath it the ground was bare, no grass, no moss, only hard soil, packed by years of struggling feet. I could smell the iron tang of rust, though there was no metal nearby. It smelled like chains buried long ago. I tried to keep my pace, but the air thickened. It was not silence. It was a crowd's hush, the sound before a verdict. And in that silence I heard it, faint at first, a sigh too long, then a cry cut short. The tree was remembering, and I had walked into its memory. I told myself it was the wind, but the night had gone still. Every branch hung motionless. The cry came again, louder, joined by another, and then another, until I heard a chorus of strangled voices overlapping, each one ending in a gasp that twisted into the next. The branches shook, not with wind, but as if invisible ropes were pulled tight all at once. My skin prickled. I could almost see them, the outlines of bodies swaying where no bodies hung. The shadows were too many to count, a forest of shapes within one tree. They swayed gently, endlessly repeating their last dance. I closed my eyes and still saw them. I should have run, but curiosity is a disease. I stepped closer, close enough to place my hand on the bark. It was cold, colder than stone in winter. The instant my palm touched it, the voices sharpened, and one spoke directly into my head, not in sound but inside my skull. It said my name, not once but again and again, until the syllables cracked apart. The bark beneath my hand pulsed like flesh. I tore my hand away, but the voice followed. It told me stories I did not ask for. The thief dragged here at dawn, the woman accused of betrayal, the soldier who refused his order, the child who cried for his mother as the rope snapped. Each story pressed into me like thorns, until I could not tell whether I was hearing or remembering. The ground at the roots shifted. I looked down and saw shapes pressing upward, as if hands were pushing through from beneath the soil. Fingers, bone-thin, reaching, scraping, vanishing again. I staggered back, but the voices rose, louder now, screams layered so thick they became a single roar. The branches creaked, the ropes I could not see stretched, and for a moment I thought I saw them all, every soul taken here, dangling in the air like fruit of a tree that feeds on death. Their mouths were open, eyes wide, faces locked forever in the instant pain overcame breath. They were not ghosts. They were the tree's harvest. And I was the next season. I ran. The path seemed longer than before, the woods endless. Behind me, the cries did not fade. They followed, weaving through the trees, each scream pulling at my spine like a hook. By the time I reached the road, I was shaking. But even there, far from the clearing, the sound clung to me. A faint echo remained in my ears, repeating, never quite gone. That night, in my bed, I heard the ropes creak as I closed my eyes. I dreamt of branches bending over me, lowering, until I woke gasping as if a noose had been cut from my throat. Days passed. I told no one, but the tree did not release me. Every night I heard whispers in my walls, creaks above my ceiling, the shuffle of unseen feet on bare soil. When I tried to eat, the taste of iron returned, coating my tongue. When I looked in the mirror, I thought I saw a faint red line around my neck. I avoided the woods, but the tree did not need me near. It had planted something in me, a seed of memory. I carried its screams now. Wherever I went, I heard them faintly. In traffic, in conversation, beneath music, always the same background chorus of cut-off cries. At last, I returned. I had to. Some call it obsession. I call it gravity. The tree was calling me back to finish what it had begun. The path welcomed me, straighter this time, as if the forest itself wanted me to arrive. The clearing glowed in moonlight. The branches stretched wider, welcoming. The ground trembled. I thought of those executed, hundreds, maybe more. Each one poured into the tree, each one waiting. And now I had joined their number even before the rope touched me. I stood beneath the main limb, staring upward until I saw it. A rope swaying gently, pale in the night. A noose perfectly tied, dangling where before I had seen nothing. It waited with the patience of centuries. The screams rose all around me, not distant now, but close, deafening. Each one bursting through my skull until I could not separate them from my own voice. I felt the soil shift again, hands rising, clawing at my ankles, pulling me closer to the trunk. The air thickened. My chest tightened. The world spun, and through it all, louder than the rest, a voice whispered in my ear, the last voice I expected. My own, begging, pleading, screaming. That is why I speak this now, because the tree keeps every scream. It does not forget, and tonight when I return again, it will take mine properly. The rope will not miss this time. My voice will be added to the chorus. Another thread in the endless fabric of agony the branches wear. When you walk near that clearing, when you feel the wind go still, when you hear the faintest creak of rope in the dark, listen closely. One of those screams will be mine, repeating forever, fed into the bark, echoing through the branches, waiting for the next listener foolish enough to step beneath the hanging tree.